Hey everybody, so welcome to another video. I'm really kind of excited today. Several videos in the past I've hinted at getting a tool that will help me with two of the big projects I'm working on the Stang. So that would be rewiring, which y'all have hopefully seen the first part video for that, working with the American auto wire harness. And then the other part would be replacing the floorboards. Well, part of the thing that's been keeping me from doing that, aside from not having the parts yet, is that's going to require welding, and I don't have a welder. That is until today. So I was able to go out and get my welder. So let me kind of show you what I got, and we'll talk about it, and then we'll unbox it, and you'll see what all comes in it. So hopefully this is exciting for y'all as it is for me. So step over here real quick, get it, and we'll bring it back. Okay, so this is the welder I got. It's the Titanium Flux125. This is from Harbor Freight. And I know what a bunch of y'all are saying, especially if you're probably real welders and all that kind of stuff professionally. Harbor Freight, why would you do that? It's not, Harbor Freight tools tend to be on the low end from what I was told, but I actually did a lot of research, and this one got a lot of very good reviews on various YouTube channels and elsewhere across the internet. It said this was a very good beginner welder. Does that make sense? Beginner? Yeah. Welder. So that's why I got this one. So it has a couple of neat things that I liked about it. First off is it will run off a standard 120 volt outlet here in the United States. So I don't have to have a 220 or specialty outlet to run it like some of the more professional grade, I guess you would call it, welders. Second thing is this is a flux core. Now, as I said, I'm not a welder, I'm a beginner at this, but what that really means is you don't have to have shielding gas, whether it's CO2 or argon or whatever they use in there. The shielding effect is created by the flux that's included in the welding wire that this thing runs on. So that was another big thing. I don't have to worry about a gas bottle. The next thing I liked about it is this one, unlike some older versions of Harbor Freight flux core welders, is this one actually is DC, direct current. So it gives you a little bit more control over the power going through the gun into the weld itself than the alternating current does, from what I understand. So I can actually control that voltage a good bit, as well as this has the ability to control the wire feed speed in there. So you got more fine controls with this. You can actually dial it in a little bit more. The older ones, I understand, for voltage only had like a minimum and maximum switch you could go through. This actually has a dial that you can fine tune that with. So for all of those reasons, and the price was right, it was about regular price on this Harbor Freight was 220 bucks. You can often find it on sale for as low as 170 bucks. So for all of that, that's why I got this particular model. So what I want to do now is let's go ahead and open up the box, and you can kind of see what comes with the unit, and kind of go from there. So let's go ahead and get it opened up. Got my trusty utility knife here, and as I'm opening this, and the other thing I did is I got their little 1-year extended warranty that allows you to actually take it back after a year of use for just general wear and tear for any reason. And the sales associate there actually told me, said, yeah, use it for a year. When you get close to your year, bring it back, get a brand new one. And so I was like, yeah, why not? And it was fairly cheap. I forget the exact dollar figure. I want to say for the year it was 21, 22 bucks, something like that. So about 10%, I guess, of the main price. So not too bad. So we'll open up. First thing on top is obviously instructions and setup guides. So that's a good thing. Set that over here. Also in here is a bag of tips that go onto the gun. So we've got 2 plastic tips and then one, I guess, looks like brass wire feed tip, if you can see that there. Like that. And of course the obligatory styrofoam. That onto ground, that was loud. And then we have the welder. And let's see, how is this going to come up? Let's get, so there's a little box here. I'm assuming this is a spool of wire. Yes, it is. So comes with a spool of wire, flux core wire with it. So we got that, which is good because I didn't buy any more. Mainly because I don't have anything to weld right now, so I didn't see the need in spending the money yet on that. I guess I could have pulled off from the welder itself, but put that over here. I'm not going to reach in. So, trying to pull this out of the box, pull it out, things together, and there's the styrofoam on the bottom. Oh, styrofoam off. Styrofoam off. Move the box out of the way. Oh, great! Somebody's running the washing machine for washing clothes upstairs. So I'll get the plastic off here. Feeds around. Okay. There. Keep that. Hold on a second. Pollen's bad. Felt the sneeze coming on. Okay. Promise, it's just pollen stuff, allergies. It's not promise. Okay, so yeah, I'm not much of a welder, so I'm going to tell you the little bit of stuff I can from what we got here. Okay, so first off, power plug, standard 120 volt outlet, nothing fancy with that. This is your ground lead. You know, if I had to equate this to something that I am familiar with, the quality of this is not great. It's kind of like a cheap set of jumper cables as far as the quality. I have seen things that they do recommend if this wears out, replacing it with another lead, which is fairly easy because it's just attached at the handle up here. You can just get through this rubber thing and replace the clamp here for the ground. That out of the way. And this is actually your gun. So we've got a pretty good length on this. So I'm 6 feet tall. You can see this table's coming up, you know, probably about 3 feet there, and then I can reach to the ceiling. So we probably got, you know, 5 or 6 feet long. I'm sure it's somewhere in the specs, but okay. So there's that. Now what I'm going to do here, I'll do this without causing too many problems, is turn this so you can see it from this side. So you can see here we've got controls, we got power indicator, alarm indicators, we have the wire speed control here, and then here's the voltage control here. So, pardon me, pollen. You got the two controls there. So again, it gives you a pretty good amount of control from what I've seen. A lot of ones at this price range, at this level, only have the single wire feed control, and then I said a switch that only goes from minimum to maximum on the voltage. So it really is not as easy to dial in, which from what I understand is pretty important. Let me get the cutter out of the way. Now, open it up. And so we have a carrying strap, which this is a very small and light unit. It's not heavy at all. So a couple of things, let's see, you can see here. So this is your spool mechanism. So your wire feed is gonna, or your wire spool goes here. It's gonna feed through here, and I'll figure out how to do that here in a minute. Then it's also got up here in the lid a chart that tells you based on the gauge of the metal what it recommends the voltage and wire speeds to be. So if I'm doing It's a 16 gauge, which I think is pretty common for like the sheet metal, the floor pans I'm going to have to replace. So I'm going to have a wire speed of 4 and a voltage of C, because it's in alpha characters, to C.5, so halfway between C and D in there. So it's got good instructions here, rated duty cycle, so 10% continuous minutes, so you run for 10 minutes. I don't see running a continuous beat for 10 minutes on this thing. Anyway, so there's that. Shows you how to feed the wire and all that. So that's pretty cool. The other thing we've got in here, I'm not sure if y'all can see it, but right in here is a switch. This will actually allow you to feed wire through to the gun. So without having to turn it on or whatnot, you can just feed the wire through there. And by that, I mean turn it without having to hit the trigger on the gun, right? So this trigger will send electrical energy up through to the tip as well as feed the wire through. Of course, you have to actually make contact on conductive metal to make that happen. But you can still feed it here, but this is one just allows you to feed it. So the wire, for those that may not know, and I know if you're a welder, you're probably laughing at me for saying, but the wire actually has to feed through this whole thing up through to the gun, right? So you got wire that runs all through this to that. So there we go, guys. This is going to be obviously a fairly short video, but I've got my welder now. Yay. Guess it means now I need to start ordering the other floor pan parts, because the little one I have in there is not going to be big enough. I also need to start practicing some welding, so I'm going to have to get some metal from somewhere and play with this and do what I can. So also I should mention, if you're a new welder, you want to make sure you have some safety equipment that goes with this. You're definitely going to want a welding mask, something that blocks the brightness of this. So I've never welded, but I was in the Navy, and I was on a ship in the shipyards, and I had to stand fire watch, which basically means I had to stand there next to a welder with a fire extinguisher ready to put out any fires that had started. So I can tell you that doing this gets very bright down here at the gun, and it'll hurt your eyes severely if you don't have a shield, and that's what the welding mask is for. It shields your eyes as well as your face from any sparks coming up and whatnot. So I've got a new one of those. And then, because again you're working with very high temperatures and things, you want gloves to protect your hands, so you want some a set of welding gloves. I've also bought those. I got those yesterday. Let's see if I can get that to stay. There we go. So all there, that's there. So anything else I can think of? That's all I can think of. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it a video. Again, it's a short one, but hopefully you've enjoyed this, and when I actually get a chance to start welding, you'll see this unit in action. So I'm really excited about that, and I may even shoot, if you want to see it, me doing some test welding, me actually doing some of my first welds and whatnot. Hopefully I can get my hands on some scrap metal and things, and actually see how well this thing works. So if you'd like to see that, leave a comment down in the section below the video. If you like seeing this, or you like the videos I'm doing, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you want to be notified when a new video comes out, hit the little notification button that's next to the subscribe button. It looks like a bell. So with that, we'll call it a video, and we'll see you in the next one. Hey folks, I'm going to throw a little bonus to the end of this video about the welder. So I've actually rebuilt the heater box on the car. So you may remember a previous video where I took it all apart and all that. Well, I've got it all put back together again. So whole new seals on it. So all the rubber foam seals that were in there, I scratched off all the old stuff, got rid of it. It was hard, cracking. I wasn't going to seal much of anything. So got a kit from CJ Pony Parts that has all the foam you need for all the doors and all the other seals that are in there. So I got that put in and installed and put everything back together along with a new heater core. So she's pretty much ready to go. All I got to do is finish wiring the car, and then I can mount this bad boy in there. I also still need to get a new blower motor, but that attaches to the outside, not the inside. So anyway, let's take a look at how it turned out. So here she is. Did hit her with a little more paint, so that's still drying on there, but we got her all put put back together, and this is the back side. This is where the heater motor, the blower motor runs. You can see the new heater core back in there. Yay for that. You can see the new pipes coming out. The old heater core is sitting over there. So it does have a leak. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I hate to throw it away, but we'll see. We may send it to recycling. Here's the front side. So that's where the electric parts attach for the sensor, for the temperature sensor and all that kind of good stuff. There is the various brackets on the top for the controls that open and close the dampers right there. So there's one of the mounting brackets that hold it up. Whole new ring seal here goes around. The other one was pretty shot. Take a look down inside there. You can see it all cleaned up. All the parts back in there. I don't know if you can tell, but there's actually, let me kind of get around here, a new rubber seal on this panel. So when this damper actually, oops, get over here, closes, it'll actually seal up much better than the bare metal that was there before. And that comes back. There's also on this part, let's see if I can get it open one-handed here. I need to grease up those hinges. You can kind of see up there, there's also a new pad put on there, and I did grease up the turn thing, so it's much better. Now, I did have to bend the latch a little bit. It wasn't sealing very good to get that back in place. Whoops, my hand was in the way. Okay, but there we go. She's all back together. Very excited. So, see y'all. Bye.